Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. Today we are answering questions about being the non-bio mom. We are doing this video in a collab with Teddy Has Two Moms, which we're speaking with right now. We're so excited to be on with them. This is actually part 2 of the video, so if you guys want to see part 1, definitely jump onto their channel. So let's go ahead and get into the questions. The first one we have is, do you get the comment, "He has your eyes," and how do you respond to questions like that?
Depends what kind of mood I'm in.
I love that.
There's one funny example. I was at like a shopping centre and I was in a lift with Teddy, just me and Teddy. This old lady was just cooing over him. This is like pre-coronavirus when people were allowed to like get close enough so they could see. Oh, he looks just like you. And I just thought, oh, you know what? Like I cannot even go there. Like I just thought it was just going to be too difficult. So I was just like, oh, thank you. I get that a lot. And then I just roll with it.
I've never gotten it, but I would probably kind of just do the same thing. It would totally depend on my mood. There would be times where I'd be like, oh, that's interesting, because that's not a thing. We haven't really had the chance because of COVID. He was born, and we didn't really see anybody for the first couple weeks, just being precautious. And then and then COVID hit. So we haven't really seen a lot of people. He hasn't met a lot of people. He hasn't really been out much.
Do you find that you have to explain that you are not the biological mom, and how do you explain that, and is it awkward for you to explain that?
I don't feel hugely awkward. We come onto YouTube every week and we talk quite openly about being a two-mum family. I talked about it in the part 1 of this Q&A that I'm really proud of our family. So actually, you know, I'll go there. No, he's got 2 mums. I will just go the whole hog. But it is a lot like constantly coming out. It's just another way. Yeah. You've got the child, and then you have to like do your whole thing. So you really have to own it. You've got to own it. It's gonna happen a lot. You can't be awkward about it, I think. I don't know. What do you think?
It's not even the bio thing that comes up so much as they just look at us and they're like, well, how, what,
How? How does that work?
And I think that's where it gets even more interesting. Like, again, if it's out of pure curiosity, fine. I am happy to explain it. It's when it comes off as like but you can't do that, or something like that, right, where it's like,
So we can and we
did. But I'm very open about how we had him,
right,
and our relationship with him, because it's like you said, I am very proud, and I am his mom. Like, and I'm very proud of our family as a whole. I don't think of it as a non-bio and bio parent. I think of it as she is the one that carried him, and I did not carry. And that's it. I just, my mind doesn't really go any further than that.
Right.
And I don't even think I realized that until we were having this whole conversation.
And this is why this conversation, I mean, let's hope other people get something out of this, because because that would be a bonus. But for me, I've found this conversation so enlightening, because when I went through the questions, a lot of my thoughts were, well, no, I didn't worry that I would connect with him. I didn't worry that I would bond. It just happened. And actually that is it. It just happens. I don't think about not being biologically related to him. I just think about, as I said, you know, our parenting decisions and our setup is based purely on, for practical reasons, I do this and Lindsay does that, because that's just how it works for our family. It isn't because she is his bio mom and I'm not. It's just he's our son. And our family is set up in the way that best suits our family. The end. Like, that's it.
Well, and that's the other interesting thing. Like, I was thinking earlier that I was talking about the difference between if it's a male and a female, right? But they're both biologically the kid's parent. But to me, like, when I've talked to other males about like the situation and how they connect, it has more to do with the fact that they didn't actually carry, not with the fact that they're biological or not biological. Which is, I mean, that's exactly how I would explain it too. There's just a different bond that you get from carrying.
The next time we do this, we need a couple who did reciprocal IVF, because that's
Yes.
really interesting.
Yes.
I agree.
Because that brings a whole other dynamic to it, right? Being the bio mom, but not being the birth mother.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be so interested in that.
Hole to get down.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
I'll make a note of that for next time.
Yes, yeah.
How did parental leave from work for you? Did you get leave?
I did.
Okay.
I got 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I basically got what the dads get.
Okay, yeah.
Dads get 2 weeks. I got 2 weeks.
Okay, so I was lucky that I didn't get any paid leave, but I work with a family that just said, take the time you need.
We'll be here when you come back.
And we'll be here. And then COVID happened.
Oh.
So I just got all the leave.
Yeah.
Like,
She had as much maternity leave as I did. It was great.
downside is it wasn't paid, but the bright side is I still got all that time with him. So
that's definitely the silver lining of
Oh yeah.
COVID-19. And for me, like, Teddy changed so much. Like, he turned 1 and suddenly this kid just, he was into everything. And I've been here to see it all. And yeah, as much as, sure, if I had a magic wand, I would magic it away and I would make it that it didn't happen, obviously. I don't wish that this situation would happen, but the silver lining for me is that I have been fortunate. I was able to work from home, but just being able to be here and see all of those developments was amazing.
Yeah. Moving on to the next one. How has your wife's support included, promoted your bonding? Any advice for the bio mom?
Communication is really key, I think. And that's the thing that I found most difficult in the beginning of our fertility treatments. Like, we did 4 IUIs and then a round of IVF, and we were lucky enough to get pregnant on the first embryo transfer. So by the time we got to IVF, we'd kind of figured we were into our groove when it came to fertility treatment. So we kind of like nailed our communication. And so that just continued then on through the pregnancy. I was anxious about the treatment. I was anxious about Lindsay's pregnancy. So what I needed from her was, I just needed to know like what was going on, like what she was feeling. You know, I probably was able to better keep a lid on it the longer our fertility journey went on. In the beginning, I think I sent her a little bit mad. But I think communication's key. You just need to keep talking to one another and to include the partner in what's going on. Because you want to know, right? You want to you want to know what you're feeling. Like, how does it feel? You know, you want to know everything. So just tell me, and we'll be fine.
So I'm gonna 100% agree. Like, communication, I mean, in all aspects of a relationship, are key. I think the other thing that helped was going to scans and being encouraged to go to scans. Not just because I wanted to, but because she wanted me there as well. You know, and like, in her mind, this was also our son. This wasn't her son. And then, like, once he was born, it was things that we also talked about a bit, but it was splitting things up a little bit more. Instead of she does all this and I do all this, more just sharing in as much as we could equally. And one thing that was really cool for me was, in the beginning, where Ashley was having trouble with getting breastfeeding. Like, it is harder than anybody can ever explain to anybody. And because the whole birth happened so fast, she was having a lot of trouble with producing milk and getting things moving. And she couldn't self-express by herself. She couldn't get it to work. So I got to be a part of that. And it was one of the most amazing things, just to be brought in and feel like I could do something like that when, like, my body couldn't actually do that and help our son in that way. So, like, that was something that really brought us even closer, and the fact that she even let me try and let me help her do that.
Bringing together of a team than having a baby. If you thought you were a good team before, bring a baby into the mix and just see how you guys come together. And it's like a whole other level.
Yes, and I think that's what you just said. It is 100%, it is team. Do you have any concerns or fears of how he will feel or questions he may have?
Is it naive to say no?
I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat, so I don't think so.
I have fears, lots of fears, but not about that. I don't fear that he will reject me.
Mm-hmm. I don't feel that fear either. I really hope that he doesn't. Like, that's not something I've ever thought about. My fear is more, will he be accepted by other people? And we're showing to the world, like, we're just like any other family raising a child. There's just
Pretty normal.
two moms. It doesn't have to be so complicated like people want to make it.
I totally 100% agree.
Do you think the baby is closer to your wife? Yeah. I think
No.
this is a pretty simple answer. No.
Some days he will gravitate towards Lindsay.
Okay.
And other days he's had enough of her. He comes to find me.
Same thing you said. Sometimes he wants her and sometimes he wants me. There's one day a week where Ashley's gone all day. By the end of that time, when she is coming home, he's done with me. He's like, oh, I want her. Yep. They constantly want entertained. I mean, that's something different, something new. They want to explore. They're curious about the world and everything. It has nothing to do with biological or not biological, at least in my opinion and from our experience. Best and worst bits about being the non-bio mom.
I don't know the answer. I can tell you the best and worst bits about being a working parent. My experience of parenting is more influenced by being the working parent. I guess the best bit is that I didn't have to deliver him.
Yes, I'm with you on that. I think the only other thing I would say is just being the one that got to take care of her during that time. In my opinion, I think that's definitely a positive. Again, that doesn't have to be a non-bio or bio thing. That's just the non-caring parent.
I'm so glad we did this together because honestly, I would have failed so many of these questions. I think other people worry more about my bond with Teddy or my situation than I do. I think other people are concerned that it must be a struggle. I mean, it's a struggle in being a new parent is hard. But that's not exclusive to me. It's not exclusive to you.
Right.
Because our wives gave birth. It's
right.
just babies are hard work.
Yes. Do you think anyone treats your child as if they are more your wife's and not really yours?
I think that anyone who spends any time with us, if they came into the situation feeling like they thought that he was more Lindsay's than he was mine, I think you would only need to spend a few minutes with us to realize that that was wrong.
Right.
So I don't recall ever being in a situation where I was made to feel like that. I think that's I don't think I've been in a situation where that's happened. A lot of the time, I'm mostly just, completely focused on my family and my son and taking care of them, and stuff can be happening around me and, people can think what they want. And sometimes I'm oblivious to it and other times I can pick up on it. But I don't think people think that.
Yeah.
If you spend any time with us, you'll realize that he's my son.
Right. So I'm gonna agree with that, especially for anybody that spends any time with us. No question at all. The only thing I have ever gotten is when we first had them, and it was more like if she was carrying him around or we were walking around or something, and she got a congratulations. And that just kind of hit my heart, but I think that was more just a personal thing that I had to deal with rather than someone intentionally putting it on me that I wasn't his mom or anything like that. Because I think it would have been the same if let's say I was carrying the carrier, I had him I was baby wearing, it would have been the same thing to me. you know, I probably would have gotten. And that's just a societal thing, not necessarily somebody saying you're less of a mom. But that's just something like personally I just had to work through.
I think I had a similar thing in the beginning. I don't know that anyone ever made me feel like I wasn't his mum, but there was definitely a part of me that thought that other people might think that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've got over it.
Yeah.
But mostly because we're so busy, like I don't have time to sit and worry about what other people think, to be perfectly honest.
Right. This one, are you both called mum, or are you mummy or mother?
Well, I saw your video on this where you guys have talked this through, and we've talked about it on our channel as well. This was really easy for us. Lindsay is from the north of England, and in the north, they call their mums ma'am, M-A-M. And I'm from the south, and we call our mums mum, M-U-M. So for Lindsay, it doesn't have a mum. So she was never going to be mum, and I don't have a mam, so I was never going to be mam. So that's just how we figured that out. So we have mammy and mummy, which are quite similar. So I wonder whether he might struggle. But anyway, we'll figure it out, I'm sure. At the moment, Lindsay gets mama, and I get mum.
Yeah, so at first, we were just talking about just letting him decide, kind of like, he'll figure it out, whatever he calls us. I started being called mama, and Ashley started being called mommy by like us, like each other. But obviously he's 4.5 months old, so we'll see what actually happens with it. I'm sure he'll kind of make his own decisions on how that goes.
Well, that's how he's going to learn, right? He's going to hear you referring to each other. And, you know, we call Lindsay's mum grandma, and we call my mum Nana. But that quickly became Gaga and Nana, because he can't say grandma.
Right.
But so, yeah, he'll take whatever you have and put his own spin on it, I'm sure.
Yep. It's interesting. I also didn't know where ma'am came from, so that's interesting to learn how it's different.
Yeah. The little nod to the Newcastle roots for Lindsay.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's another thing I can't wait to hear how he talks, because whilst Lindsay's accent isn't as strong, she's been in London for like over half of her life. She always talks about having a very soft Geordie accent, but there are words that we say differently. Ma'am, you know, I'm trying to think now, grass. So I'm so intrigued. I just imagine that he'll have like this really southern accent with like a hint of Geordie every now and then. So that'll be fun.
It'll be interesting to see, because obviously you're both going to be talking around him, so he's going to pick up both of those things.
Yeah.
Were you worried how your wife's family would consider you being the non-bio mom? So I kind of covered this in part 1, but we can go over it again and kind of let you speak for this.
Yeah, no, I'm really close to Lindsay's family, so I wasn't worried. Again, I think there's just a lot to worry about when your partner, whatever your relationship is, right? Whether you're in a heterosexual relationship, whether you're in a lesbian relationship, like if your partner is pregnant, there is a lot going on and there's a lot to worry about. And I really just didn't have time to be concerned about, you know, a lot of other stuff. I just wanted to get through the pregnancy. I just wanted him to be delivered safely. And I just thought I'd just figure out the rest after he's here. But no, I wasn't worried, and I'm lucky enough that I haven't ever been made to feel like I'm not his mum by Lindsay's family.
So I did talk about this in part 1. So if you guys want to check out more of that, go back to part 1 and go ahead and watch that on Teddy Has Two Moms. I'm just going to give a brief thing on kind of what I feel here, and I'm very fortunate for how things turned out. Next question here is, were you worried about how your wife would respond to you doing mothering roles?
I think she was quite happy to have some time off. When I said, oh, I'll do the night feeds, absolutely you'll do the night feeds. I'll sleep, thank you very much. No, I think we've talked about, I think we keep coming back to the same themes. Like, you know, we're a team. This is a partnership. it just so happens that Lindsay carried him.
Yes.
So no, she doesn't get precious about certain things. She really gets probably more precious if I don't do them. If I'm perceived to be not pulling my weight, then I'm in trouble, but not the other way around.
Right. It's an equal partnership. Like, you're both his parents, you're his team. Like, it has nothing to do with being biological, not biological. It has nothing to do with being a mom necessarily, as much as just like, you are the team that is taking care of this child. I want to support Ashley doing some of that, and she wants to support myself doing some of that. It doesn't even seem like there is anything else to it, you know?
I really think that it doesn't need to be overcomplicated.
Mm-hmm. It all needs done. Like, the baby needs taken care of, the child needs taken care of, period.
Yeah, it really isn't complicated. Just everyone both pitch in and everyone's happy.
Did you both change diapers?
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah, I did too. I've heard of some families where it doesn't work that way, so I was just wondering.
There is absolutely no way I would have got away with not changing his bum. Sometimes
would she have gotten away with it?
She probably would have got away with it more.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because same thing here. No way I would have, but if she wanted me to change every single one, I would have. Do you ever feel like you have less of a right?
No, I don't. I really don't, actually. I don't feel like I have less rights. If I want to take him somewhere, or if I'm on his birth certificate. I had to take him to the emergency room, and when I explained, are you his mother? Are you Lindsay? No, I'm the other mother. Do you have parental rights? Yes. Right. That's the only time I've ever been asked, was when I had to take him to the hospital.
Fully agree. Like, as far as it comes to, do I feel like I have any less rights? Absolutely not. My only fear is, you were talking about birth certificate. So as I had mentioned in part 1, when we talk about the birth certificate, it's not the same across the US. So my only fear is, if we travel to another state or another country, obviously once COVID's over, and I am not seen as an equal parent, or something happens and we need to take them to the emergency room, and in that situation where I'm not given the same rights. Mm-hmm. And we've even talked about the only way to eliminate that is possibly for me to also adopt our son.
To be extra sure.
To be extra sure that if we are somewhere that is outside of Ohio where we know I am okay, that can't happen. Mm. But do I actually feel like I have any less rights? No.
I'm sorry that's a thing that you have to think about.
I didn't even know it was something until a few weeks ago, honestly. And I was like, oh, wait a second. If it was a heterosexual couple, like, would that be the case? No, it's not. Even if the father that's on the birth certificate isn't the biological parent, they're the parent. All right, we're getting close to the end here. Got 2 more questions.
So many good questions. All of these questions were amazing.
Yes, we are so thankful for everyone that sent in questions, and that we've gotten to share this conversation with you. Like you said earlier, just completely enlightened, and it's amazing to hear somebody else and talk to somebody else that's going through very similar. So, second to last question here we've got, were you worried about missing out and not experiencing pregnancy yourself?
I think my answer is going to be different to yours, or maybe it'll be similar. We know that we want Teddy to have a sibling, and I will hopefully carry our second child. So I wasn't worried about missing out, because I knew that in the future that would still be a possibility. Lindsay and I really love the idea of raising each other's biological children. So for her, I always said, if she got pregnant with twins, that was it, we were done. 2 babies, done. She was like, no, because first of all, she's like, well, if I've got to do it, you've got to do it. And we sound really spiteful. We're not. And she was like, well, I want to raise your child? And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, well, I really want to raise yours too. So no, I wasn't worried. I hopefully will get to experience that sometime, hopefully not in the not too distant future.
So our answers are going to be a little bit different. I have said before, like, I had no desire to be pregnant. So this was like a given, like Ashley was going to have our first child, you know, same thing. If she had twins, we were done. We also want Paxton to have a sibling. So once she went through this process, there was a part of me that was like, there is a part as the one not caring, again, doesn't have to do with the biological necessarily, but the one not caring, there are things that you don't get to experience. You don't get to experience what it feels like to have another life inside of you and kicking, and watching her has made me kind of question, like, do I want to give this a shot? And honestly, we don't have the answer yet.
Isn't it fascinating how you can approach something with such a firm idea of your opinion on parenting, right? And then over the course of, you know, time and your experience, that suddenly things begin to change.
The best piece of advice for being a parent that I think we were ever given, and I think is what I will give to other parents, is you're going to have to go with the flow. Do not have it set in stone, like, I'm going to parent like this, I'm going to do this, like, it's going to be like this, because that's not how it's going to work. I want to take a minute and say thank you so much. We have one question left, and I am honored that you invited us to do this video with you and just to have this conversation.
I've loved it, so thank you so much. I've really, really enjoyed it. And I'm sorry that Lindsay and Teddy couldn't join us for this video today, but they're sending all of their love.
Yes, and same with Ashley and Paxton. They've kind of come and go, but
these kids,
yes,
they just do what they want to do. They have their own minds.
Yes, no matter how much you try to plan around it, it just doesn't matter. The last question here is probably by far my favorite. Did you expect to feel as much love as you do?
No. It honestly has been the most fun and most wonderful and the best experience of my life. He is such a joy. I honestly could just, everything he does is brilliant to me. Earlier on, he smashed me in the face with a box, and I still thought he was the best. I just think, honestly, I'm just obsessed with him. I just think he's wonderful, and I am so proud of him, and I'm so proud of Lindsay. My feelings for her have changed. He has helped me love her even more than I did before. I didn't know that that was a thing, or that that was possible, but apparently it is. I knew that I would love him, and I knew that I would connect with him, and I knew all of those things. I knew that that would not be a problem, but I didn't know that I would love him as much as I do. No, I don't. You said that very well. I don't think there is any preparing. We would talk to people, and people were like, you have no idea what love is. You have no idea. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I do, you know. I have 2 dogs that I love. I have Ashley that I love, you know, my family. Like, the truth is no. There is no explaining. There are no words that can prepare you for what that love is like. From the minute he was conceived to then, like, I thought that was already a strong love, to when he was born, I thought that was like extremely powerful. And as you said, like, my love for both him and Ashley grew. But then every day watching him change and grow and develop is just, I am so proud to be his mom, and there is nothing like it. Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm trying to talk about it without like crying, because it's just, it's so powerful, and it's nothing that you experience, at least that I have ever experienced in any other part of my life. It is the most rewarding thing we have ever done, and by far the best decision we have ever made.
I'm absolutely broke, but it's definitely the best decision I ever made.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean,
And money, haven't been out in months, like barely ever do my hair. I'm constantly being smashed in the face with toys, but I still love it.
That's parent life, right? Like that's how it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can bring Ashley and Pax back in here for us to close it out.
Real tired again, guys.
Oh, look at that boy. Honestly, he is such a handsome little boy. You guys did so well. Look at that.
Thank you.
Look at those cheeks.
I know.
You ready? You want to say bye to everybody? And say thank you?
Well, thank you again to Teddy Has Two Moms for including us in this video. If you guys aren't already subscribed to us and them, definitely do that. Otherwise, we'll see you guys later.
And we will definitely put a link to their channel in our description below.
Bye, guys.
Bye.